She is the co-host of the True Crime and Cocktails podcast, along with her cousin, sister, Lauren Ash. It's Christy Oxborrow, live from quarantine in Vancouver. Christy, how are you?
I can't say I'm not well. Things are going great. How do you complain about being in a hotel for 3 days? And let me tell you, when the water pipes hum so loud that you can't sleep, and then you figure out, oh, if I turn the water tap on and let it drip out just a little bit, then they don't make noise. So when you get to that point where you have to mentally decide, what can I handle more? The humming that gets very loud, or just constant water running. And I went with the white noise water running, I guess. So, I mean, how can you complain with that? I just feel like I've been in quarantine for a long time. I don't remember a time outside of quarantine, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, I have a feeling you have some memories because the reason you're in quarantine right now is because you are going to be on people's TV screens on Tuesday. Tell us what the experience of the Kelly Clarkson Show was like.
It's just, what a weird world that I live in. When Lauren talked about doing this podcast, even like less than 6 months ago now, I said my condition was like, I don't have to like have my face out there or anything, right? And she was like, no, it'll just be our voices and then maybe a little bit of YouTube video, just like a little bit, just a few people will see it. And I went, And then she's like, I went on Kelly Clarkson and I put photos of us behind. I hope it's okay. And I just went, okay, I guess that's fine. And then Kelly Clarkson people were like, ooh, you should come back with bring her with you. And she's like, yeah, she's in another country. It's kind of difficult to do. And then we let it go. And they approached her again and we're like, well, we actually would like her. We want you both on the show. And she's like, okay, well, she can Zoom in. They're like, nah, we don't want to do that. Can you get her here in person? And we're like, it's a lengthy quarantine process. And they were like, yeah, we'll wait. And so we finally found dates that would work. And I went down and it just felt like a dream the whole time. It's just very surreal to get picked up from an airport and then like quickly rushed to a home where you have to like stay in the home for 10 days. And the one day I was allowed out after quarantine was over, we go to meet Kelly Clarkson. And I was like, this isn't real. They're not going to let me in the building. That's fine. We get to the sound stage and there's like a huge banner with her name on it. And I was like, this is as far as they're going to let me go. I'm happy just being here. I'll just stay here and wait for you. And then a producer came out and was like, I'm so happy to see you both. Let's go. And I was like, this isn't real. They're not going to let me in. They're like, come on, let's go sit. This is your green room. And I walk into these like tote bags with like our names on them. And there's all this fun stuff inside. And she'd signed a note for me. And I was like, I can't, this isn't real. And then they're like, some middle-aged man walks in and is like, I'm gonna put a mic down your shirt and you just have to accept it. You just turn around and go do whatever you need to do. And he gets up in your business and puts a mic on you. And suddenly they're like, oh, come over here and do photos. They have this fun photo screen and they're like, do some photos. So of course we did regular and then your classic prom pose. And then they're like, okay, stand here. When you hear a loud noise, they're going to open the window and you just walk right out. And we're like, oh, okay. And you hear a loud noise and a door opens and there's Kelly Clarkson just smiling at you, waving for you to come over. And you're just like, don't trip, don't pee your pants. And for the love of God, don't swear. Because for the podcast, I tend to not pay attention to my swearing. But in this case, I'm like, ooh, no, you can't do it. You can't do it. And she's just so lovely. And when we finished, she asked about my kids. And when I told her that I had a 16-year-old, she was like, you are not old enough for that. And I'm like, well, you're my favorite human. So I'm like, that's just the way it is. And then she was just like, she's like, oh, is it boys or girls? And I said, I have 3 boys. And she just made this face of like, oh, you're a true hero. And I was like, that's okay, great. That's lovely. You just, whatever Kelly Clarkson says to you, you just take it.
So this is like, you see Kelly Clarkson on TV. She seems like such a genuine, like lovely person. Meeting her in person, everything's true.
Oh, 100%. Everybody that I met like all the different producers and anyone kind of working within the show, because you have someone that picks you up outside the studio and takes you right into the green room, and then there's always somebody with you taking you everywhere. And every single one of them were like, it's your first talk show? That's amazing. You picked a great one because Kelly is the most amazing. Like, it's almost like there was a script for employees, but all of them were like, she's the best. You're going to love her. And she just was genuinely so sweet and so nice. And I can't say enough lovely things about her.
And so, like, it's only been 6 months since your podcast started.
Like, 6 months tomorrow, yeah.
Did you ever imagine that you would be in this situation right now?
No, never, not even a little bit. I honestly thought that we would do this podcast. I thought it probably wouldn't be as good as the one that Lauren had before we started ours. And I thought, oh, we might have like 20 people who listen. I thought maybe if I'm lucky, and I thought maybe if we're really lucky in that first year, we'll hit like 5,000 downloads. And we hit 5,000 in our first week. And I think we just hit, we're bordering on like 325,000 now. So I guess it went a little bigger than I was expecting it to. And I mean, the lead singer of our favorite band growing up, Age of Electric, he listens to our podcast and has reached out about it and tells us he loves us. And that was the moment I think we both had a stroke. I don't know. It's just such a surreal thing to happen.
That is incredible. So what's next, Christy?
Oh, well, while I was in LA, some other things happened. I cannot talk about them yet, but we're looking at possibly the summer for one of them. And then the other, I have no idea. I just literally did what I was told while I was there, because I basically, except for 2 days from like March 30th to April 25th, I'm full quarantine to be able to make this happen. So it's just been, I'm like a child. I just get picked up from the airport, I get dropped off, and I get told this is your room and that's where you stay, and people bring me food. And so it's, I like to call it, people say it's kind of like a prison. I say it's a fancy rehab, because you're in like a lush room. You have people that like knock on the door, and I know they won't meet me face to face because of COVID, but it feels a little like they feel like they can't meet with you because you're too like Hollywood to meet with them, and they're just like, no, here's your food, so sorry to bother you. So it's just such a weird thing. So pretending it's fancy rehab has really gotten me through the last few days where I just have no concept of day or time. I think I'm losing my mind.
Well, listen, what brought you here? We mentioned it, the True Crime and Cocktails podcast. For someone who has no idea what that is about, what is True Crime and Cocktails in a nutshell?
Oh, in a nutshell, we like to say we're just two grown women who like to get buzzed and talk true crime. Season 1, we focused on the new Netflix Unsolved Mysteries episodes, and we're in season 2 now, and we're dealing with famous fatalities. We had a JonBenet Ramsey, Princess Diana. We did one about Madeleine McCann. Just sort of any sort of famous case that gets a lot of attention. And then sometimes we like to throw in ones that nobody really pays attention to try and get it a little more attention than it had before.
My favorites from the new season, throwing back to the 90s, is Tupac and Biggie so far. Those are 2 separate episodes for everyone. Your podcast is a whole lot of fun to listen to. So we can't wait to be able to see you on the Kelly Clarkson Show and whatever other the mystery things you're going to be on.
I don't know if I can watch the show myself. It felt like a dream. So when I saw photos of it, I was like, oh, so it did happen. Okay. And I'm just horrified at the thought of watching myself. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I watch our episodes that we record every week because I make promos from them. So I will watch them every week, and that doesn't bother me. But seeing me on camera, I don't remember a single thing that came out of my mouth. So I can't guarantee what was said. Thank goodness they have editors and it wasn't live. So
That's awesome. Where can people find your stuff, Christy?
Instagram and Facebook and Oh, where else are we? Yeah, Instagram, Facebook, we are at True Crime and Cocktails. In Twitter, we're at Not Detectives, and we have a website, truecrimeandcocktails.com. It has a link to all of the places where you can listen to the podcast. It has all of the videos that we have. They are unedited, so warning now, we get a little ridiculous, more so than people realize, I think. And yeah, I mean, people can follow Lauren on Instagram at Lauren Elizabeth Ash or me at Unsolved Christy.
Awesome. Thanks for taking time out of your hotel quarantine to chat with us.
Well, thanks for keeping me company.
Have a good flight back to Moose Jaw.
Thank you.